We've got celebrities coming to Wonders of the First, and in this video, I want to take a deep dive, get that magnifying glass out, and go into the spoilers that we have for Vaylen Voss, Draco Malfoy, Tom Felton, whatever you want to call him, coming to Wonders of the First, as well as take a look at the box and get a little trick that I'm going to use up my sleeve that I can use to peek on the back end of some of the advertising that the team is doing, and I was able to uncover one extra piece of information to a spoiled card, which then leads to another question. So let's get into it. Looking at Vaylen Voss here. This is spoiled in the announcement that celebrities are coming to Wonders of the First. If you want to see more information and a deep dive on the announcements, you can go to the video linked down below at the announcement of Vaylen Voss, or excuse me, Tom Felton, Ben Affleck, and Arnold Vosloo, I hope I say that correctly, coming to Wonders the First with on-card autographs. And let's look at Vaylen Voss. This is the only one that we have spoiled that I can talk about here in this video. So I'm going to zoom in and we're going to take a look at each of these cards. And I mean, first of all, let's admire the artwork here. I think this is fantastic. He is boundless, which is the orbital in between orbitals. It's like this ethereal land, so to speak, as I imagine it. And taking a look at the art, I mean, it looks just like him. Even the hair, you know, is that classic, almost Malfoy hairstyle. So they didn't put a wig on him. They didn't dye his hair. They accentuated the blue in his eyes. I think that's fantastic. Now, we don't have any specific regalia or what do you call them? Badges, crests, family crests on his clothing, which is why I think that this is something that is either going to still be in progress or, you know, they just kept they used some art they already had on style. And that's not a bad thing. It's just what it is. And then we've got an orb here, some kind of orb. And I think maybe this will be possibly one of the story tokens that's going to be created that we're going to take a look at the ability. But other than that, I don't see anything too much on the person that gives us a lot of insight. You've got a little bit of a crest right here. I'm going to put this a little bit more in the center, right here on his chest, but it doesn't really showcase that much that's going on. You've also got a flag, a very generic, but it's also a very complicated flag. I don't think we've got stripes on it, but I don't think it looks like we've got lettering on it either. So it's a very unique design. Let's go from the top to the bottom. And his name is Vaylen Voss, so he's part of the Voss family, so to speak. And the first name is Vaylen. I think that's a very appropriate fictional name that he's got there. He has 11 power, so he is very powerful. The highest power card right now is 13. We've got two cards with that power. I believe Azure Skycrest Station and Divine Bloodbearer. And I think the average, I don't have specific hard numbers on this, but going off of experience and feeling and anecdotal, I think the average power is going to be between 5 and 6, maybe 7, maybe 4 on some decks. So he is super powerful. Take a look at his ability here, because that's the next thing that's going to matter. Well, actually, the cost is 6, which is a little bit higher, but that introduces cards like Dragon's Gold to bring his cost down to 4. If you have the Orbital Link, which means you have a boundless land in play, then he actually costs 5. And if you have Dragon's Gold plus an Orbital Link, he's actually only going to cost you 3, which means on a great day, you could get him out even earlier. Now, his ability is on play and tap free. Okay, this is the first time we've seen these two abilities together. And it says, create a story token in this or an adjacent realm. As far as I know, we don't have a card that has both on play and tap free. We've got cards, I believe, that have 2 tap abilities. So you have the option of what to do, or it's just one like sacrifice ability and you can choose between one of 3 things. This one, so on play means as I play it, when it comes out of my hand, and before it hits the board, it's going to create a story token. And once it's on the board, I can tap this for free, which means I turn it sideways and I don't use an action to activate it. Now, what's interesting, okay, here we go. Hot take number 1. Tokens, when created, they specify power, okay? So, for example, Bone Harvest Harp, tap free, spend 1 energy, and create a 1 power undead token. Another one here, Azure Skycrest Station. Okay. On arrival, create a 5 power Aula token. Let's see here. We've got Caroline Candle. Create a 2 power Bella token. So you'll notice that all of these cards that create tokens create a 4 power Angel token. So what is a story token? It doesn't have a power. So Is it an item? And in that case, it's a story item. Is it like a utility item like Azure Vault or Phoenix Quill? But what is a story token? We still don't know, but I do know it's not a wonder. If it was a wonder, it should, by all that we know, should have a power associated with it. So what's interesting too is that they call it a story token. So does it create a story in the game that you try to follow? Is there an item that says, hey, if you manage to get 20 power in a realm, here's the story that takes place? Do you create a story token that says like, hey, when this is put in play and equipped to, for example, a Vaylen Voss, or equipped to a legendary wonder, that wonder gets this. And maybe it's like you're telling a story. I don't know. Is it an equipment? Now, here's the thing. If it's just like all the other tokens, right? If we create a 1 power insect token, right? You can use a coin or the back of a card or a die if you want, like 1 dice. And you can say, this is my 1 power insect token. Or you can use an actual physical token card. This isn't an insect token, but you can use Sarahorn, which is a Rhino Beast token. And you can use that as a representative of the 1 power beast token that might get created. So if we have this physical story token, what is that story token going to look like? Can you use an Umbrathine story token when Vaylen Voss creates that story token? This is some of the things that are running through my mind. If we add a story element to the game, like, hey, if you hit this, then this, right? It's like you're creating a story within the game. I think that's a really unique and fun idea. And not only that, much like some of the tokens, for example, may come with flying, or may come with an additional category or faction as a part of the token. For example, if you use Sarahorn, when a card says create a beast token, well, when you use Sarahorn, the card representation, he's not just a beast, he's also a rhino. So that's another category that you could call out or use to build a deck around. You could build a rhino deck. I don't know if there's any other rhinos, but that could be something too. So anyways, all that said, I think that's very interesting that you can create a story token. What is that going to look like? Because is there in the rule set, is there going to be different stories that you can create the token for? So if you use a penny as your story token, you can say, hey, this is story B. I don't know. That's something very interesting for us to think about. Now let's take a look at the information about Vaylen Voss. He is a legendary wonder, so you can only put 1 of him in your deck. He is a stone seeker. This is a brand new type of class. So this is brand new. So in the traditional style of the sense, much like Magic, you're the planeswalker, but you can also play planeswalkers in your deck. In Wonders, you're a stone seeker. You're trying to get the stones. However, he is also a stone seeker. So it almost like he's equal in prestige to the player. But really, really cool here is he has the additional class of Quill Hunter. Now, if you did not watch my video about the prologue, breaking it down, it's a long video. It's a lot of fun to watch and listen to, though, where I break down the lore. And let me show you real quick what that looks like. In the wondersccg.com website, we have the prologue, which basically sets up kind of some of the story here as it largely unfolds in the Wonders universe. This is the main universe storytelling, that is. The quill is something that people have been searching for. It's something that a card known as the Prisoner basically corrupted her. I believe she kind of went crazy. She was drawing on walls with the quill. And we know it's not lost, but it appears that Emma is trying to find it. There are Phoenix Quill scrolls that are buried. There's a lot of information here. We don't know too much about it. Here's some of the prologue cards to collect. So I believe that this will kind of come alongside those prologue cards. And I think he's one of the ones that are trying to find the quill. Over here, he is part of the Archivist Guild. So to me, that tells me he's a little bit of a historian. Maybe that's why he doesn't have like a huge military garb here. It could be more of like a royal uniform. And that also leaves me Archivist Guild custom take number 2. I don't think this orb is a weapon. I don't think this is a grenade or some kind of attunement you needed for spell casting. I think maybe this is a library. I think this is maybe some kind of knowledge base. So kind of like a magic 8-ball, he can ask a question and it'll pull up an archive of answers within the world. So that's my hot take here. This orb is not a weapon. It's actually a piece of knowledge. Also on the bottom, a very interesting thing here. So on the bottom, where the current cards say existence, for example, if I actually when I just open a new image, on the current cards, it says existence at the bottom and it gives a number here. For example, Blazing Phoenix Pup is 59 out of 401. This one actually does not give a number. It actually says TFA-1-A, which is a little bit more like the alt arts. I don't know if I can pull an alt art image. Let me see. If I pull one of the alt arts, you're typically going to be greeted with one of two things. Number one, you're going to get an A1 dash and then the number of the card. So for example, normal Azure Sky Crustacean, I believe is number 73 or 75. No one can tell the 3s and 5s at this point. Only the Wonders team can only tell. You got to go to the spreadsheet to figure this out with our old eyes. But the alt arts will have A1 in front of it. And the promos, if you look at the promos, they will have a P in front of it. So if we look at Tom Felton's here, it says TFA-1-A. So I think that's very interesting. We've got Call of the Stones where it would normally say existence, but this says TFA-1-A. So I think TF stands for Tom Felton. A, art, Tom Felton art. This one also says Tom Felton art. And then it says -1-A. So -1-A, what does that mean? I mean, maybe on this one, -1-A stands for the autograph. So they know it's going to be autographed. So you can't try to manipulate the card and put a fake autograph. And then at the bottom, it'll actually say, number 30 of 400, right? But I find that very interesting that this says TFA-1-A. And here's another guess. And this one's a little bit out there and people may not like this. I'm wondering if these Vaylen Voss with Tom Felton art is going to be a chase hit. It's going to be an alt art, same as the Pink Spores, right? We've got Pink Spore Dreamcat's alt arts in the play boxes right now, and they are not the main art, but they are alt arts here. And if we look at the numbering here, let's see, this one says is that A8, AS? I don't know, 361 out of 401. So hot take number 2 or number 3, I don't know what we're at. I'm wondering if this is not the Vaylen Voss primary art. If the Vaylen Voss number 60 out of 400 is going to be your general epic fantasy art, and this here, Vaylen Voss Tom Felton version, is going to be an alt art. It's going to be a box topper. It's going to be a chase card. It's going to be a separate hit, which means that, maybe a special hit is going to be Tom Felton alt art. And then on top of that, it's going to be an autograph possible chase as well. What do you think about that? Do you think that maybe there's going to be a Vaylen Voss that's going to be a general Vaylen Voss, your typical fantasy art, and then maybe this is a special casted version? I don't know. I know that's going to be a hot take. And then looking at the collector booster box art here, we've got Wonders of the First, Call of the Stones, over 90 foil cards per box. So if there are 30 packs and each pack has 3 foils, you've got the common foil, any rarity foil, and then the hit spot, which is either a foil token or a formless foil / OCM / no foil / possibly alt art. I don't know. Then yeah, that makes sense. So packs don't seem to be changing. What I do like to see though is 5+ mythics per box on average. I am super happy about that because there were some boxes, and I believe Frenchie even talked about in his Quill box opening before the shattering, I think it was, that some boxes only had 2 or 3 mythics, and that's part of the game. Some boxes are going to have 7 or 8. I think I watched Magic Historian open a box that had like 3 foil mythics and like 5 other paper mythics. It was insane. But I'm very glad that on average we can expect 5 mythics per box. This makes it a very player-friendly box as well as collector-friendly. And then bonus, 1 alt art silver pack, which could be where you could hit the Tom Felton Vaylen Voss. I'm very curious about that. I kind of like it, but again, I'm not here for the celebrities. Like I explained in a YouTube comment, I don't find myself excited at the prospect of celebrities, but I do find the idea exciting, meaning like it's not make or break for me. It's not something I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta have it. Even if it was Kevin Sorbo or Ben Affleck. I love Ben Affleck. I think he's gonna have a really cool card. But to me, it doesn't add anything. But I think it is exciting to see how it functions with other collectors and other players as well. Which also, speaking of players, is there, if this is the alt art, if this is the Tom Felton alt art, does that mean that the players, if you rip a play pack, you're not going to have a chance at the Tom Felton Vaylen Voss? Because remember, this is a collector booster box. This will, if it's an alt art, this will have that shot. But the play bundles, they may not. And I'm okay with that. But I understand some people would be like, don't you put that evil on me, American Texan. And I also am very excited to see this guaranteed one celebrity guest autographed or serialized foil. We did confirm in the Discord that is OCM because people don't know what OCM is. People don't know what formless foil is. So they call it foil on the box. Because that's just keeping the term what the broad market knows and understands. And I'm fine with that. But I am glad that we have guaranteed, because the current collector boxes, if you actually look at them, it says an average of 1 OCM per box. And that means that some boxes don't have OCMs. And that's unfortunate, but that's kind of how the way they ran. Now look at the back too. Look at the back of the box. I think not a lot of people are talking about the back of the box. Doesn't that look like the first? Do you think that looks like the first? If I pull up the first promo, especially on the promo here, you got the gold sphere here. You've got some orbitals in the back. I think that kind of looks like the first, don't you think? I find that very interesting. Almost like maybe it's an archival footage of the early first orbital of existence. I don't know. We've got some rocky formation here at the bottom. You got first edition, so we fully expect that 30 packs, 12 cards per pack. I'm glad we keep the box topper. I am super excited for that. And one last thing, and then I got to take off here. I'll let y'all go. Let me know if you enjoy this. I worked a little bit of magic. And by magic, I mean I just used something I knew that's totally out there and anyone can do this. You can go do this yourself. I went to Meta Ad Library. When you go to Meta Ad Library, you can see what ads people are running. You can see what ads other agencies are running, authors are running, celebrities are running. Any organization, you see what ad Walmart is running. Well, guess who I searched up? I searched what ads are wonders of the first running. And I honestly expected to see a little bit more, but I think that's okay. And I run a marketing agency. We do run Meta ads. So I'll tell you what you're looking at here. You're looking at 3 ads. Now these go to a sign up page, not the sign up page that we had in Discord. That is a website. This is actually a sign up inside of Facebook called a lead form. And in here, they can put their information, and that is kind of like a back-end sign up. And they can also share information about how they collect or how they view trading cards. So we've got a ad here. They're all basically just promoting the MSRP pricing. They're not giving a lot of information about the game, which leads me to think that these are retargeting ads. They're just showing the ads to people that have visited the Wonders site, have checked it out on social media, or somehow are in the ecosystem. We've got an image here of the 5 cards that we've already looked at in the past, which are these 5 cards here. But if you look at the Tinsman ad, it's an ad right here, right? One's the first, featuring game designed by Brian Tinsman. I think this ad is retargeting Magic users, or Magic players, not Magic users, Magic players. And you'll notice it features a card here, Acerox. We zoomed in on it, the Roaring Storm, and we get a little bit more information. Because remember in the last video where I zoomed in on these cards, we could only see the left side of this card. Call all wonders whose, we have no idea, a stone here, flying, 9 cost. But in this ad, we get to see almost the full card. It's too low resolution for me to get that much information, but I'll tell you what I think it says. Acerox, the Roaring Storm. He is 12 power. He is Sulfera core. We didn't know that information. Now here's what I think it says, based on my zoom and enhance with my eyeballs here. Call all wonders whose controller controls a stone. Again, I'll say that again. Call all wonders whose controller controls a stone here. It doesn't flow off the tongue. But whatever call all wonders is, I think this verifies that's a keyword, folks. That's a keyword, ladies and gentlemen. Call all wonders whose controller controls a stone here. Is it bringing wonders out of the hand? Is it bringing wonders from a different realm? But if you control a stone here, or your opponent, your wonders are going to get called. So I find that very interesting. What do you think? Do you think it says something else? Let me know. Thank you guys for watching. I am very excited for this new set. SCG Houston is this weekend. If you are going to be in Houston, I will be there right alongside you. Thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe if you like this video. If you didn't like this video, let me know by hitting that dislike button twice, and I will still see you in the next video. Adios.